That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
The start of school means the start of new sports seasons, which unfortunately can mean injuries. Too often, sports injuries are treated with opioids, leading to addiction among our youth. And drug addictions can cause overdoses and deaths. If you're injured, ask your doctor for medicines and therapies that don't use opioids. And if you're struggling with opioid addiction, we can offer treatment. Opioid addiction is a losing game. You can help. Learn more at realhelpvr.com. That's realhelpvr.com.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
Welcome in to Jefferson Parish, Week 10 in New Orleans for the LHSAA Network Game of the Week. The mighty Mississippi rolls on here as the undefeated Edna Karr Cougars take on the 6-3 Rummel Raiders. The Shrine on the Airline Highway here, the site for our Week 10 matchup. Hi, everybody. Welcome into the press box here in Metairie. Former Coach Wade Kaiser, Garrett Walvard with you. Coach Edna Karr comes in on the state's longest winning streak, 23 in a row. Rummel can really run the ball, but their quarterback tonight is making his first start against the state's #1 team.
Right, well, and that's Nate Singleton. He's a converted wide receiver, but he is all-around athlete. He's a dual-threat guy, can throw it, can run it, and he's going to have to be on point tonight if Rummel's offense is going to be able to move the ball on this outstanding Karr defense.
Karr's done an incredible job over the last 2 years under Bryce Brown. Let's take a look at our keys to victory, starting off with Edna Karr.
Well, Edna Karr is going to have to block a lot of multiple fronts that Rummel's going to throw at them. They're going to have to be able to block those fronts and blitzes in order to have offensive success. Defensively, they got to get off the field on third down. If they're off the field on third down, that means they have the ball in their hands, obviously, and they've got a great chance at scoring points. Rummel has got to shrink that number of Karr possessions tonight, so that means they're going to have to hold on to the ball offensively, and defensively, Rummel can't give up the splash play, the big play.
Karr won the coin toss, and they deferred. So the Cougars will kick off from the 40 to get our week started. Glad you're with us on the LHSAA Network. And we are underway as Brian Castellon sends this one in to Mitchell Harris. Harris trying to make the turn at the 30 and will be rode out of bounds near midfield. Great return for the Cougars. Mitchell Harris, 5'9" junior, with a pretty nice return for Rummel. Raiders are going with Nate Singleton, 5'8", 150-pound junior. Coach Nick Monica's club. We're looking for a spark, trying to get something more going on offense as we head into the playoffs. They've got high hopes.
Well, last week against Jesuit, Singleton comes in and leads them down the field in a tight game and comes away with a nice touchdown pass. But like I said, he's going to be able to do it with his legs also. So this puts a lot of extra pressure on this Karr defense.
You saw the numbers on Singleton. Starting off from the 45-yard line. Past one line of defense. Short gain to go.
Well, you're going to see Corinne Hawkins tonight, and you're also going to see J.T. Terrence, Jaden Terrence. They're going to be the guys in the backfield for Rummel that are going to have to tote that ball in the run game. You're going to see Rummel working the clock here, as we talked about in the keys. Notice how they're going to run that 40-second clock down as low as they can every time they're going to snap the ball.
Hawkins, a sturdy back, 5'9", 190 pounds. He's in his junior year. Maybe a little movement up front, our first flag of the game. We'll go with our officials and see who it's on.
Yeah, they got Nigel Marshall. Rummel's going to try to use some long counts tonight, partner. You're going to try to skip as a Rummel offense, trying to get some of those big guys in those white jerseys to jump off sides, and they went on two right there, and they drew big Nigel Marshall, a huge junior defensive lineman, offside.
Our head official, Lindsey Smith, and we're back underway. 2nd and 2 coming up for the Raiders. Coach Monica got quite a few guys back on the offensive line. Only injury they really had was their starting center, but they come back and have a pretty good offensive line, getting some good push up front. Raymond Hughes, 77, goes 6'4", 320. He's just a sophomore. There's your offense, brought to you by Farm Bureau of Louisiana.
There's a good look at Mark Shesby. He's the guy that caught the touchdown last week that helped them beat Jesuit, right? It was a great ball thrown by Nate Singleton. We talked about Nate Singleton already, and Corinne Hawkins, one of the running backs we'll see tonight, and that outstanding offensive line of Rummel.
Starting lineups brought to you by Louisiana Farm Bureau, the voice of Louisiana agriculture. Looking hard on 3rd and 1, and Rummel thinks they have enough to move the chains. Karr not making it easy for them. They've got some big guys up front on the Karr defense, just like they do on that purple and gold offensive line.
Yeah, the guy you just saw right there, which we'll talk about in a second, number 7, Richard Anderson, was doing a little officiating on his own. Watch number 7 in the center right here. He is a load to move. Boom. Top 100 ESPN player, LSU commit right there. He's doing his officiating, making sure the officials know that they didn't get the first down. The officials told him, though, with the chains, it's first down line.
Big plays running the ball for Rummel to start off. They are in Karr territory. Ball on the 45-yard line. Here's a keeper and some pressure in the backfield by Kevin Martin.
Wow. Kevin Martin's a great football player. Here's a good look at this Karr Cougar defense.
Karr goes behind Richard Anderson, 6'3", 340. The senior, big LSU thought. Romeo Brown and Juelz Batiste on the line with him. Kylan Jones, Martin, Quinn, and Gray at linebacker. And then 2 talented guys, Maurice Williams, Haywood Howard at cornerback. Aiden Hall at safety, 6'1", 185, another LSU commit.
Yeah, there's a good look at big number 7 right there. Keep your eyes on him tonight.
Again, starting lineups brought to you by Farm Bureau of Louisiana. First pass of the game by Singleton, and it's caught. Micah Green, his leading wide receiver.
Yeah, off RPO. Great action in the backfield. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball on the last series. That time they get a read on the outside linebacker. That outside linebacker bites perfectly, steps up, and Singleton delivers the slant on cue. Here's a good look at it again. You can see the outside linebacker steps right up, which opens up that window for that slant on that RPO to be able to hit Michael Green right in his hands.
Green, 5'8", 165-pound senior. Looking to pass 2 in a row. Karr had a look at it. Instead, a catch made by J.T. Terrence, and he may have moved the chains as well into the red zone.
Well, J.T. Terrence lined up at the Wildcat that time. You'll see a little bit of that tonight with Corinne Hawkins as well as J.T. Terrence. It's a little flip, throwback, a little razzle-dazzle. I was out at practice this week. I saw them practicing this.
So Corinne Hawkins with the pass. Terrence and gets him into the red zone. Rummel knocking on the door here. Long first possession for the Raiders. Ball spotted at the 10-yard line. So 1st and goal for Coach Monica's club. Big man in the middle is Dominic DiGiovanni, 5'8", 225-pound senior center. And it looks like they want to make sure and get the right play in there, 1st and 9. We'll be back. More action coming here on our man-to-man break.
So it's going to come down to this.
Can they do it?
Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute! There's a flag on the play!
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
It's 1st and 9 for Rummel. Nate Singleton in at quarterback. Quick pitch to the outside, and Terrence makes a cut, heads into the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders! An early lead for Rummel here at the Shrine on Airline.
Kirby Cade is the guy that lays the block out there that springs Terrence into the end zone. Wow, off the edge, there was nothing standing there. The only pressure that was coming up to fit the edge and set the edge, Kirby Cade knocked it out of the way to allow JT Terrence to get into the end zone. Great blocking at the point of attack. It's an offensive drive that Rummel drew up. This is what they want to do all night, control that clock.
Senior kicker Robert Vargas right down Broadway, and just like that, Rummel leads 7-0. Here's another look, Wade.
Well, take a look at the toss right there. There's the block right there. Do you see number 3? Lay that block out there on the guy that was setting the edge, Kirby Cade. Good look from the end zone right there. Nicely done. You see the hole open up? One cut and he's into the end zone. Love to see that end zone shot. Great view for our folks at home.
Let's bring in the third member of our broadcast crew, Steve Schneider, down on the field.
Volunteer opportunities to lead you inspired. Be a role model. Every moment spent volunteering helps uncover the confidence, strength, and limitless potential of girls in your community. Be a part of the magic of a girls.
Win here would be something you rarely ever see. And you mentioned 2 years, no losses for Karr. This is week 10. I went back 10 years. In 10 years, Karr has lost 4 games on the field. They did have 3 forfeits. Of those 4, two were by 2 points, 1 was by 1 point, and Catholic High won a double-digit game. That's in 10 years of regular season play. Catholic's the last team to beat them, 23 in the semifinals. Rummel won 11 years ago against Karr, 44-41. Back to you.
Great stuff. Since joining the Catholic League, Karr is 3-0 against Rummel. Raiders, though, off to the early lead and a good stop. They've got him inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah, great coverage right there. Mason Aguilar does a great job, and he is a freshman for that Rummel coverage team, getting downfield, filling the hole and making a great tackle. Karr starting deep in their own territory.
All right, Coach, give us the skinny on John Johnson, 3-year starter for Karr. They call him Hollywood. He was the district offensive MVP a year ago.
Well, look, you know, we've seen this guy around for the past 3 years. He's been a 3-year starter. You know, he does it with his arm, does it with his legs. Just this week, he decommitted from Liberty, reopened his recruitment. And there's a lot of people that will be coming knocking on his door in the next couple of weeks. He has the whole package. And those colleges that are looking for that type of guy that can run the RPO game, run the option game, throw the football vertically down the field, well, John Johnson is the guy. He's a student of the game, and Bryce Brown raves about how he's always the first one in the building and the last one out.
2nd and 10 for Karr, deep in their own territory. Trey Garrison, 8, and Jermon Macklin, 24, have been good runners for them this year. Here's a lateral pass. Gregory Wilford makes the catch, gets a minimal gain. we take a look at the starters on offense for Edna Karr, brought to you by State Farm, by Farm Bureau. Johnson, of course, with Garrison and the fullback Camerson Mumbert. The line from left to right averages 6'3", 320. Noyle, Drake, Adams, Wesley, and Williams. Like a SEC offensive line for Karr. We'll see how effective they can be tonight against Rummel's defense.
Yeah, well, that junior Wesley already has offers from SEC schools.
Ball tipped by the defensive line, maybe an outside linebacker. And on 3rd and 7, they did exactly what you said in the keys, Wade. Get off the field on 3rd down.
Well, yeah, exactly. And what it's hard to pressure John Johnson and give him running lanes, right? So when he pulls that arm back and he's ready to throw from the pocket, defensive linemen and linebackers that are inside the box need to stop and get their hands up, and that's exactly right there what the linebacker from Rummel did, Carlin Kitchen did, and got the knockdown. And they are off the field, and they're going to get great field position for their 2nd possession.
Glenn Gurley will punt to tonight's starting quarterback, Nathan Singleton. Singleton will not field this one as it rolls out at the 44-yard line. Coach Monica talked about he'll continue to return punts. He was a starting wide receiver for them, now a converted quarterback, but that quarterback trying to make a little magic happen here in week 10.
No doubt, and he's an athlete. That punt was almost blocked. Look for Rummel tonight to bring all types of exotic blocks in the kicking game against Karr because they feel they have the advantage on special teams. One of the secrets to beating Karr, look, is keeping the ball out of their hands and coming up with big plays on special teams. The Raiders this week are doing everything they can special team-wise to have that advantage against Karr.
Rummel takes over at the 44-yard line. Handoff. Terrence waits for the block to develop. Some pressure coming in from Aiden Hall on the blitz. Who's turning the corner? It's JT Terrence. Terrence, one man to beat, and finishes with a 50-plus yard run into the red zone.
That's defended great by Karr from tackle to tackle. Look at the counters. Everything's squeezed down right here. Linebacker fits nicely right there. Talking about Aiden Hall, but there's nothing coming off the edge to support that front, and then we're talking coming from the Karr secondary. That's the reason why that thing kept bouncing and went straight down the boundary. As a defense, you've got to be able to use the boundary as your 12th player. That's why you got to set an edge by a corner or a safety coming up in order to help that boundary come into use.
A 50-yard gallop by JT Terrence. 1st and goal for Rummel, and it's a scrum at the goal line. Great angle from our sideline view, and into the end zone is Karan Hawkins. 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns for Rummel.
Would you call that a tush push?
There you go.
There you go. Rummel's version of the tush push. Karan Hawkins lines up at the Wildcat, ball snap to him, runs straight up, and everybody starts shoving that red jersey. You can see 5 at the quarterback there. And look at everybody in a red jersey just pushing and shoving the pile forward. So there is your version of the Metairie tush push.
Nice job by Hawkins, the 5'9 junior, to get in from 4 yards out. Another opportunity for the senior kicker, Robert Vargas, who's a multi-year starter for Coach Monica. Same result as the first time, and Rummel leads 14-0 here with 6 minutes remaining in the first. We're probably not the only ones stunned at this early turnout by Rummel.
Well, the only thing Rummel would have liked better on that second score was it to have been a little bit slower, right? It's a catch-22. Well, now, okay, well, just next time can you score slower, take some more time off the clock. But when your running back bounces outside like that and turns on the jets down the boundary, you know, it's Katie bar the door for your offense, and then you're in the end zone on the next play on the tush push. You'll take it any day. Up 14-0. You're absolutely right. A little stunner here.
How about Nick Monica, now in year 7 at Rummel as the head coach? He led the Raiders to the 2019 state title. They were the #1 seed in Edge #2 Catholic, 14-10 in the Dome.
By the way, Nick Monica was a pretty good wing T quarterback for me at St. Charles Catholic.
Oh, we're going to have to get into some stories here. We need to hear something from the locker room from back in the day.
Yeah, he was a good one, and so was his brother Ty. They're the sons of the legend Frank Monica, who, of course, took over at St. Charles when I left, and has had a bunch of stops in college as well as high schools here in the state of Louisiana in the LHSAA High School Hall of Fame.
Wilford makes the catch. Might have been letter served, letting that one go. And there is the head coach for Karr, now in his 11th season, Bryce Brown.
Yeah, one of the best. Look, Bryce Brown has done it wherever he's been at any level, right? He started at the junior high level and moved into the high school level. And look, he just doesn't win games. He's a father to a lot of these guys in the community, in that Karr community, making sure that they're taken care of not only on the field but off the field. What a great guy for the Algiers area. That's Bryce Brown.
2 possessions in a row for Karr inside the 10-yard line. This one from the 4. John Johnson back up to his own goal line. Back deep with him is Trey Garrison, 5'9", 190-pound senior. Whistles blow. A little pushing there at the bottom of your screen between Gavin Cooper and Xavier Owens.
Looks like a delay of game penalty, so they'll back it up half the distance.
This is a converted baseball stadium, the Shrine on Airline. And we'll eventually get you a look, but the play clocks are in each end zone, and they're on wheels. Should be available for the student athletes to see them. Run up over the 5-yard line by Garrison for a yard.
That was your first look at Trey Garrison, which is a guy you're going to have to watch tonight for the Karr Cougars. He originally committed to Nichols and just decommitted this week and has committed to Washington State. There's the Rummel defense right there. The guy you want to really keep your eyes on is number 4, Carl Kitchen right there. Really, really good linebacker. Had a huge play last series.
Our starting lineups brought to you by Farm Bureau Federation, the voice of Louisiana agriculture. Cornerbacks Tyrus Franklin and Mitchell Harris, 1 and 20. Could be busy tonight trying to take on that vaunted Karr passing attack. Gavin Cooper, 5'11", 183-pound junior. 3rd and long for the second possession in a row. Johnson, the senior, trying to get Karr moving here. Got time to throw, goes deep down the field. Man wide open, and that one's reeled in and still on his feet. It's Floyd Jones. Jones makes a man miss. He's up to the 40 and is finally brought down. That's the way to get first down out of your own end zone.
Well, one thing Karr can do is they can have pre-snap penalties. They can be 1st and 15, 2nd and 12 or whatever. They can do this, right? They can get behind your secondary, throw the ball up, and have this great leaping ability.
Handoff from Johnson, and a pretty good lick laid there on Trey Garrison. Karr and Rummel playing tough as expected early on, but Karr is on the move.
Look, Trey Garrison's physical, 5'11", 190 senior. Last year he rushed for 827 yards.
Runs through Iman Drake in the hole next to Caden Adams, the center. And he has moved the chains.
This year he's rushed for 738 yards, 15 touchdowns on 78 carries. So look, Washington State's going to get a good one if he holds on to that commit.
Handoff again, this time right side. He'll fight for every inch he can get. Tackle made by Carlin Kitchen.
Yeah, Carlin Kitchen, we kind of highlighted him already. Look at him step up from that linebacker position and wrap up Garrison around the knees. That's the way you got to tackle this guy, right? You hit him high, he's going to pop you. You got to take him on, down around those knees, and he's feeling it right there, but he's okay. Shake it off, young man.
Johnson, a year ago at quarterback, threw for 3,400 yards and 34 touchdowns and rushed for 900 with 16 touchdowns. Throws into traffic, but it's caught at the 20 and a little yak after the catch. That time again, Xavier Owens.
Yeah, Kyron Jackson had a shot at picking that. He was a little slow getting under the curl route from his corner position.
Karr working quickly here, trying to keep Rummel on their heels. They trail 14-0.
Well, they love the tempo. They're going to get to the line of scrimmage. They're going to look over, get the play, and then they're going to roll. They're not going to go on 2 counts, 3 counts, things like that. They're trying to turn it into a track meet. They love it when it is a track meet, a tennis match, right? That's right up their alley.
Trip wide's top of your screen. Man in motion now. Gregory Wilford. Pass back. Little screen. And a run, I believe, by Joshua Ford after the catch.
A little tunnel screen. Again, getting the ball, spreading the ball around to your best athletes, right? Inventing ways to be able to make sure you involve everybody in your offensive scheme touching the football.
3rd and 7 coming up. Rummel with 3 down linemen. Play action. Up to the line that they need to get, and more. Still on his feet. Floyd Jones with the touchdown. Karr's on the board.
You can kind of call this the Floyd Jones drive, right? He gets the big reception to get him out of the hole, and then he runs the little hitch route right there. Rummel just doesn't get somebody to him to tackle him, and he takes it into the end zone for their first score. Look, Floyd Jones, a good receiver, comes in with 508 yards already on the season with 5 touchdowns. Give him another one.
Ryan Castellon. That ball, the snap was bobbled. The holder will be brought down hard inside the 5, just shy of the goal line.
He was close. He almost got it in. Oh, there goes the flag. Yeah.
Here's a replay on the touchdown.
It's bobbled. Oh, that's the touchdown. Absolutely. That's the nice route right there by Floyd Jones, catching and getting the end zone. You can see it's off of play action. See the hitch route right there. Overrun tackle, 2 tackles, 3 tackles. He runs through the 3rd to get into the end zone. On the PAT, you got a bobbled snap. Right, we got a dead ball, personal foul. They'll take it on the kickoff. Rummel will take it on the kickoff. But going back to the bobbled snap, these are the things that, Rummel feels that they can take advantage of on the special teams if they play special teams well tonight. Karr bobbles the snaps on the PAT, just doesn't get into the end zone. He was close there to the goal line, just couldn't stretch his arms out in order to get the ball over the plane.
How impressive was Floyd Jones on that drive? 2 catches, 75 yards, and the score.
Yeah, it's the Floyd Jones drive. Like I said, what was impressive was him going up and getting that high ball to get them out of the back of their end zone back there, but that's what Karr does, right? Like I said, down and distance really doesn't matter to them. They're going to call what's on that sheet no matter what the down and distance is, and they truly believe they can convert from anywhere on the field. It's amazing, right? Years as offensive coordinator, I always had to sit there and look for that 3rd and 7, right? I had to scheme that 3rd and 7, or if I was in a situation where I was 2nd and 15 because of a penalty, I just didn't have that call. I was just trying to get half of it back to make a call, right? I mean, Karr does what? They just throw it and get rid of it, and those guys believe they can truly can convert from anywhere.
Off one Rummel player. It'll eventually be picked up by J.T. Terrence, and he'll make something out of nothing for a 15-yard gain up to midfield.
Again, Rummel's starting with great field position, right? I mean, this has been a secret for them all night. This is their 3rd drive here of the first quarter, and they are starting at or around midfield for each one of those drives, right? So now they've got to learn to work the clock like they did on that very first drive of the ballgame that they came away with 6 with.
Singleton's got to have quite a bit of confidence trotting back on the field for their 3rd possession, up 14-6. He's made some passes tonight to move the chains. He's done a nice job handing off to Hawkins and Terrence. Just an easy little pass over the defensive line and some yards after the catch for Rummel. That's the tight end, Mark Shesby.
Well, Shesby, you can call him a tight end. He's not your traditional Y, right? He's not your guy that's going to put his hand in the dirt all the time. But they will move him into the backfield to be a blocker. They'll move him out into a slot. They'll move him to the 3rd receiver in trips, and they'll run little routes like this, option routes or little read routes, and get the ball in his hands. And once he gets the ball in his hands, he's real athletic. He can make something happen with it.
Rummel's offensive line has been up to the challenge early against that Karr defensive attack. Hawkins in the backfield. Singleton. Play action. Wide open, and it's in and out of the hands of the sophomore Kirby Cade.
We saw this earlier, right? They connected on it. It's the same RPO. He's reading the outside linebacker, the widest guy, second widest guy, should I say, in the defense. Once he commits to the run, he's throwing a slant right behind him and giving him a nice window. You got to catch that ball, young man. I'm sure Nick Monica's going to have some words for him when he comes to the boundary.
But look at the passes that Singleton's got. They're pretty much on the money. Had him in stride there right in the breadbasket. See if they can recover here. 2nd and 10. Here comes the pressure from Karr. Out of the backfield is Hawkins. Keeps his feet for a little bit extra.
Great counteraction, right? You're going to see a kick-out block and a seal coming from the backside. Offensive lineman in a red jersey getting up to the second level. It creates a nice hole for Hawkins to be able to slip through. Pick and peck, that's what they're trying to do. Keep that ball moving, stay in positive situations on the sticks, and run this clock, get that 40-second clock all the way down.
Could be the last play of the first quarter. They need 1 yard in a passing situation. Here's the keeper in the Wildcat to Terrence. Terrence stays in bounds and moves the chains.
So far, Joe Chango, the offensive coordinator of the Rummel Raiders, has the formula, right? Big shout out to his mom and dad who are listening tonight and watching tonight up in New Jersey. There's the Wildcat coming with the quarterback or the Wildcat sweep off the edge. It's perfectly blocked. And so far, they have the formula to move the ball on this really good Karr defense.
Kevin Martin, number 10, the senior for Karr, on the stop. But Rummel moving the chains here as we come to a close in the first quarter. 9-yard touchdown run by J.T. Terrence, a 4-yard run by Hawkins, and for Karr, a 20-yard touchdown catch. Rummel knocking when we return.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
Beautiful night in the Crescent City, opening up Week 10. It's the LHSAA Network Game of the Week, live in New Orleans. Glad you're with us. Wade Kaiser, Garrett Walbert, and Rummel looking to go up even more on the number 1 ranked team in the state, the Edna Karr Cougars. Not a bad first start for number 16, Nate Singleton, a converted wide receiver in his junior season. Pass to the flats, that's deflected by the athletic Karr linebacker.
That looked like Kevin Martin or possibly Ronell Kendall, one of those guys at the linebacker position. See which one got their hands up. Oh, they're right there. It was Ronell Kendall. Number 33, 5'10", 200-pound linebacker, outside linebacker in their 3-4 defense. Did a nice job getting his hands up.
3-wide set for the Raiders, and that's Hawkins in the backfield. 2nd and 10. Going through that Karr line proves difficult. And the tackle made again by Kevin Martin. Number 10 is going to have double-digit tackles if he keeps it up by the end of the night.
Yeah, well, he comes in with 51 tackles, 2 sacks. Last week had a huge fumble recovery to help beat John Curtis. He's a good one, right? Romeo Brown also in on that tackle, and that vaunted defensive line from Karr. Those guys are big, but they can run, right? You usually say big and slow. No. These guys are big, but they can run.
Ball on the 27-yard line, 3rd and 11. Can Singleton come through? Pressure. And that ball is tipped by the all-encompassing line for Karr.
Yeah, Jules Baptiste. Really like this guy. Plays with a motor. I love the screen idea by Rummel, but you got to get rid of the ball faster, Mr. Singleton, to be able to get those hands down a little bit sooner. There's a good look at that junior defensive lineman, Jules Baptiste, 6'3", 245-pound athlete right there, guys, who will have everybody in the country after him for his senior year.
Rummel will go for it on 4th and 11, and if Karr gets the stop, they would probably have their best field position of the night. Timeout called, second of the half by Coach Monica. We'll take the break with them. Our man-to-man break coming up here. You'll continue to see live coverage here at the Shrine.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
When looking for a college, I wanted somewhere that would push me and allow me to kind of be the person I'd always wanted to be.
Everyone here kind of has this mindset of seeing the next person succeed, and I think that just creates a Southern Miss spirit.
You find what you need out of Southern Miss. What I need isn't what another student needs, but we all find something here.
You don't have to be what people have said you've been. You don't have to be what people think you are. Like, coming to Southern Miss, you can totally reinvent yourself and be who you truly feel like you are meant to be.
Welcome back to our LHSAA Network Game of the Week. Hi, everybody on YouTube tuning in live. 4th and 11 out of the timeout. Rummel, 3 wide, top of your screen. Singleton flushed out of the pocket, flips over to Hawkins. Hawkins has the first down, and a late flag comes in. Really like the play call out of the timeout. They went wide, used their speed, and took advantage.
Well, they got out to the flank, right, and had everything run off out there. Talking about the coverage and knowing exactly where those sticks are. That's called game awareness, situational awareness, getting right to those sticks. Here's our call.
There's a flag on the play.
Well, it's all going to be called back for a holding penalty probably out there on the edge by one of the wide receivers. Let's see if we can get a look at it. Great idea to get the swing screen out there real quick. Nicely gotten into his hands. Talking about Jaden Terrence, and at the top of your screen you probably saw number 3, the sophomore Kirby Cade, just didn't let go of the jersey and got called for the holding penalty.
They actually gained a yard because of where the hold was. Now 4th and 11. Second chance for Rummel to keep this drive alive. All time for Singleton. Rolls left, stays in bounds, and will be stopped just shy. And Karr will take over with their best field position of the night.
Well, you can see what Singleton brings to the table, right? He can, he can throw the ball a little bit, but what he can do is he can escape any type of pressure, and he comes up a yard shy from that first down. He sees everything's covered. He's getting pressured a little bit and just escapes to his left down the boundary. That Karr speed caught up to him just shy of that first down line to gain.
There you see Coach Monica, who was a pretty good college baseball player at UL and later UNO under Tom Walter, who's put together a nice program at Wake Forest. So Karr, who last year graduated 11 student athletes that signed college football scholarships, comes back out for their third possession. Johnson takes the high snap, passes into the flat. Still on his feet is Wilfred, fighting hard for yards after the catch.
Gavin Cooper gets out there to keep that thing at bay, right? A little wide receiver screen that looked like it was off to the races, and out of nowhere comes number 9, Gavin Cooper, to make a nice play. You'll see him coming into your screen right there. Nice tackle. Hold on.
This one's put right into the gut of Trey Garrison. Took his time, found the opening.
Look,
he'll move the chains.
Yeah, look, he runs mad. There's no other way to say it. He runs mad, right? And You know, he is a Division I running back on the counter right there. Great blocking by the offensive line, the gap scheme right there to be able to spring Garrison, and he just runs mad. He's looking for a red jersey to run over.
1st and 10. Garrison with the stiff arm, stays on his feet, splits a defender. And they're getting into Rummel territory now. He's fired up.
Yeah, well, one guy's not going to bring him down, Garrett. I mean, it's going to take a bunch of red jerseys to bring him down. Watch one red jersey bounce off of him right there. Bouncing off of him was Carlin Kitchen, the linebacker. Hit him nicely in the thighs, and he just bounced off. Shows the power and the leanness of this running back.
A couple of snaps here by Caden Adams have been off the mark. This time, though, Johnson will keep it. Nowhere to go, and he's smothered by Rummel.
That just didn't look put all together for the RPO. He was one of his guys out there in the flank to be the option that he could throw the ball to, but the two guys out there, it just didn't look like one of them was Gregory Wilford. Just were not on the same page with Johnson. Watch, he's trying to do something here, and it's just not working out, and it ends up being a loss for the offense, but that's okay for them. They know that. They can work at this distance.
Keeper by Johnson was looking for a block. He's over the 35-yard line, and some laundry comes in late. Johnson ran for over 900 yards a season ago. He is a savvy runner.
Well, I said he can do it with his arms. Here he does it off the read, zone read with his legs. It's going to probably come back. Might be a holding penalty.
Karan Jackson, number 2, made the tackle.
Yep, they're marking it back. Here's our call. Did we get our call? I think it's a holding penalty.
So for Karr, backed up now, 3rd and 12 for the Cougars. This team was undefeated a season ago. They made a statement in the Superdome, beating Alexandria Senior High School, and forced a running clock in the dome.
Yeah, it's a state rule. Over 40 points. They put 53 up on a really good Alexandria team.
Johnson's got time. Pass to Wilfred, who's been his favorite target so far in the game. Him and Floyd Jones. He'll go to the boundary.
But they spread it around. They have athletes all over the place at the X, the Y, the Z, the H, which is the halfback. They're going to move them to the wide side of the field. They're going to be in a 3-by-1, right? They're going to swap positions. Those guys that are off the line are hard to defend because they're getting free releases straight down the field.
4th and 2 from the 44. Garrison in the backfield. Can he get 2 yards the hard way? Johnson, 3 men in motion. That one's popped up in the air, and it's intercepted by Chris Parker. Rummel forces the first turnover of the game, and Parker's brought down in transition at the 40.
They run bubble slant. It's off somebody's hands. We'll see the replay to get exactly who, but Chris Parker comes up with the pick of his life, right? That's a huge pick for that young man here in the first half. Let's see if we can see who tips the ball. Oh my, it looks like it was Gavin Cooper possibly that got his hand on the ball, or Karan Jackson. Flying to the ball. Good things happen when you run with speed to get to the ball. You can get your hands in there, pop that thing up, and you can give Chris Parker a gift.
So 2 empty possessions for Karr, and Rummel takes over. Pressure in the backfield, and our first sack for Karr. That belongs to Ian Gray, the junior.
Yeah, off the zone read right there. Ian Gray does a nice job. Here's the fake. He pulls the ball. Talking about Nathan Singleton. And nowhere to go. Covered up by Ian Gray.
Nice job by the linebacker on the edge. Came in without anyone in his face. Loss of 6 on the play. Singleton looking to hand off to JT Terrence. And Karr's defense came off the sideline mad. They've made a couple of stops here for losses.
I want to show you the difference of what happens when you get corner support on the run. You're going to see on the replay possibly Aiden Hall, number 0, come flying up and setting the edge. and the pursuit coming in from inside out. When you set the edge like that, watch over there on the right-hand side of your screen. Here comes number 0 like a missile right there. That's what happens when you set the edge. Good things happen for your defense. They got that straight on the boundary after those first corner mishaps. There's a good look at Aiden Hall, the LSU commit.
3rd down and 16. From the 32. They flush him out of the pocket. Singleton, a wide receiver's got room to run though. He's over the 40 before he is brought down by Haywood Howard, the 6'2 corner.
No one touched Joel Baptiste, who came flying through the B gap and applied the pressure to Singleton. You got to get a block on everybody up front. If somebody is going to spring free, you got to block inside gaps out. Nobody put a body on Joel's Baptiste.
36, Joseph Carapina, a junior, set to punt for Rummel. Back deep for Karr, Gregory Wilfred, number 3, but a short punt rolls over the 30, and Karr will not have an opportunity for an athletic return. Wade, let's take a look at some of the power weightings for Division I select. Of course, Karr undefeated at top. Alexandria, the state runner-up at 8-1. Turling's 9-0 in 4A, but playing in Division I. And then you see Rummel in the 8th spot at 6-3.
Well, in that particular bracket, the top 8 will get a bye, correct? 9 through 16 will get a home game in the first round. They'll take 24 total in the Division I select bracket.
And a win for Rummel would give them power points, but a loss to the number 1 team's not going to hurt them in the least.
No, not at all.
Good stuff on the defense there for Rummel. Stop made by Jacoby Dunn, the big 6-foot senior. Carlin Kinchin in as well.
But there you go. You know, looking back at that bracket a second ago, partner, there's Alexandria sitting right there at 2. Could that end up being a rematch, right? They'll be on opposite ends of the bracket. They'll get a bye in the first round. You know, get themselves well if they have any nicks or dings, and who knows what could happen in 4 weeks.
Hey, even without JT Lindsay, they'd love another shot at Karr. Little yard after the catch pickup for Gregory Wilfred, and Karr and John Johnson are on the move.
Look how smooth that throwing action is by John Johnson. Watch. Nice, easy throwing action. Nice tight ball. That's what you call spinning that thing, right? He can spin it out there. He can throw it, spin it deep, or he can throw it out to the boundary and get it quickly into the hands of your guys.
This one's put into the belly of Jermon Macklin, a 6-foot junior. Macklin, they need 2 men to tackle him. He's finally brought down. This will be on Rummel's side of the pitch.
Yeah, well, Jermon Macklin's the guy that spells Trey Garrison. Guess what? He's got a Florida State offer already. He hasn't committed, but he's starting to get offers right now, and he's the backup. He'll be the guy next year.
2nd and 1. They put Garrison back in. He goes airborne and gets the first down. Boy, he is impressive to watch run, and it's to the point, if you keep that up, nobody's going to want to try and tackle you in the 4th quarter if you keep hitting them like that.
Well, that's the idea, right? I mean, run angry, run low, good pad level, punish when somebody comes to tackle you. Look at the jump cut in the backfield. He's got great vision.
Fresh set of downs. Hand off to Garrison again. Rummel read this one well. They'll stop the forward progress, and Jacoby Dunn off the edge.
Well, that's what you have to do. You're going to have to get a couple of bodies on him. You can't let him get started, because when he gets started, one guy just isn't going to bring him down. So you're going to have to get a little penetration. You're going to have to change your fronts. That's what Rummel has come in to do today defensively. They're going to flip their fronts around, flip their coverages around, their safety support system, things like that, which we'll talk about, and get a couple of bodies to that ball to tackle Garrison.
And in motion is Wilfred. Takes the handoff. Not going to arm tackle him, and he'll be brought down after a gain of 3 on 2nd. Edna Karr, one of just 14 schools in Louisiana that remain undefeated, and the only other 5A team that's undefeated, Parkway. Panthers are beating teams 52-27 on average. They are at 7-2 Evangel to end their regular season tomorrow night.
Haven't seen them this year, but I hear they have a lot of jets, man. A lot of guys can flat run.
We saw them in the battle for Bossier earlier on the LHSAA Network Game of the Week. And really a nice job by them up there. Looking to go 10-0 tomorrow night. Johnson on 3rd and 6. Going to the house, overthrows the receiver, Xavier Owens.
Love the combination route out there. High-low stretch. Some people call it a smash. Some people call it a China route. Trying to get the inside route to the corner. The wide out, the number 1 route, is going to stop his route and try to draw the corner down. If the inside route can get on top of the safety, which he did right there, all you got to do is drop that ball in the basket, throw it at that pylon, and it should be an easy 6. It was just sailed a little bit deep over that pylon.
We'll take one more man-to-man break as our first half comes to a close.
At Breck Golf, our courses are your courses. A place for family and friends to come together, to enjoy the great outdoors, to work on your swing, or get in the game. It's all just minutes away. With convenient locations around the parish and online tee time bookings, it's easy to find your next hole-in-one with Breck Golf.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
Rummel's defense wants a stop on 4th and 6 coming out of the timeout. Karr back out on the field. Edna Karr is 24-1 in Catholic League play since joining District 9 5A. Their only loss came 2 years ago to John Curtis on this field. John Johnson, slant, and it's caught up at the 25-yard line, and the Cougars move the chains again with Floyd Jones.
They were in man-free, right, with a lot of room on Floyd Jones. All Floyd Jones had to do was get into his route, and the ball was delivered on time. You just can't give him that much room.
Trip wide receivers, bottom of your screen, but this will be a handoff to Trey Garrison.
And getting back to the coverage that Rummel is using, they're using a lot of different man looks, a lot of different zone looks to confuse Johnson, but it doesn't seem to be confusing him. He sees what he's getting. His first read is that safety, so he's looking up right now. He sees 2 high safeties up there. He knows he's got zone.
Johnson already with 1 touchdown catch tonight. Zips this to the 15-yard line, in and out of the hands of Xavier Owens.
Well, I think he started to run before he caught the ball, right? What's the first rule? First of all, catch the ball. Whoop! Yeah, oh, man. Down there, when you get close to that end zone, right, you start thinking about getting into that end zone. And Xavier Owens started thinking a little bit too quick with his feet. So you got to catch it first. He's a nice-looking receiver. Big, tall young man.
Johnson surveys the field on 3rd and 4. From the 18-yard line. Johnson with good zip on that pass. Trying to get his wide receiver locked in, and he is driven forward. It'll either be 4th and very short or 1st and goal. We'll see what the stretch is by the official.
Rummel jumped into man coverage, man free right there, and they went to the 1 receiver side again with Xavier Owens and trying to get him to break the tackle. Great job by Rummel making a tackle on that big wide receiver.
1st and 10 as a flag comes in. Holding on is Trey Garrison.
Kingsley Barconi comes from his linebacker position.
Trey Garrison carries. Gavin Cooper in on the stop.
So holding is going to bring the ball back on the holding call. Watch Kingsley Barconi come flying in, number 24 right there. Boom, you see the hold by number 77 right there, the junior Zion Wesley at the point of attack. Nice job by Barconi coming up from his linebacker position to take down Garrison. Boy, holding penalties will kill you, especially down inside the red zone, right? They're just like daggers. But you know, this type of offense, as I said in the first half or earlier in the first half, it doesn't matter. Everything comes into play for them with their athletes on that call sheet.
From the 23, 1st and 20. They can still get 1st and goal, but a sack comes in by Jacoby Dunn. Big play on 2nd down for the Raiders.
Yeah, 4.5 sacks on the year. Give him another one, right? Pump up his stat total a little bit. Nice pressure right there. Does not give John Johnson a lane to escape. And John Johnson was climbing in that pocket to look for a lane to get out of there and go get those sticks, right? Nicely done by that Rummel defense, being where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be, how they're supposed to be, in their lanes, making sure that John Johnson can't escape. Great coverage downfield to make John Johnson have to step up and pull that ball down. You talk about total team defense. You got to put your coverages together with your fronts, mix in your blitzes in order to be able to, have success, right? If one of them is out of whack, if you're not good on the back end, you're not going to be very good in the front end. If you're not good on the front end, it's going to put so much pressure on your back end that you're not going to be very good back there either.
The Raiders went on the road to open their season. They fell by a single point at LCA in Lafayette, 27-26. Rebounded to thump U-High the next week, 30-17. They opened Catholic League play with a very tight game against John Curtis, 21-19, a game that they could have won. Still, a lot to be accomplished this season for Rummel if they continue playing at a level like this.
Well, it's the Catholic League, right? Everybody's well coached, everybody's got great athletes, and everybody comes to play every game night.
2nd and 25 from the 28. Out of the timeout. Johnson goes to the house with it. In and out of the hands of Karan Jackson.
Yeah, he was looking for Floyd Jones over there on that corner route again. Karan Jackson doing a nice job getting over there. Ball a little overthrown. He's trying to drop it on a dime on that near pylon on the corner, partner. That's what they teach that flag route or a 7 route, corner route, post corner, whatever you want to call it, whatever your terminology is. The aiming point is that pylon at the front corner of the end zone.
All right, here we go, 5 wide, empty backfield. They need 25 to move the chains and get 1st and goal. Johnson flushed out of the pocket. Flags fly. He'll be hit hard at the 20 and driven down.
Might have a face mask this time in there. Let's get our call.
Lindsey Smith, our head referee tonight, talking with his crew.
The pressure was again applied by Jacoby Dunn. Okay, that's I'm not quite sure what that particular. There it is. Ripped his helmet off. Illegal hands to the face mask. That's what that was. I didn't recognize the call. When that helmet comes off, you have to stop playing. But they're going to call the illegal hands to the face that ripped off the helmet of the offensive lineman. So there's our penalty.
In watching, they're looking for a touchdown now, but in watching the Cougars warm up, they've got a pretty good field goal kicker in Brian Castellon. Castellon was making them from just over 40 yards warming up. They've got 3rd down coming up. They need 7. Johnson's got time. Looking back at the end zone. Runs left. Pressure coming in from Kinchin. And just got a piece of his Nike and brings him down.
Great coverage on the back end by Rummel. Everything covered up. Johnson had no place to go with the ball. Uses his legs to escape right off the play action. You can see a red jersey on every white jersey downfield. They're in a little man-free coverage, nicely done. With the field being reduced by being in the red zone, it's easier to cover in man down there. And what does Johnson do? He just gets out of there and tries to pick up what he can. and then you're going to get a holding penalty again. If that's what it is, this time they'll mark it back and they'll replay the down.
You see the former Karr graduate and Grambling State graduate, Bryce Brown, now in his 11th season. 3rd and 17 come up, and Karr calls a timeout. They're going to think it over.
Yeah, what a great job he does, and I have so much praise for that gentleman right there. He is a mentor, as I said earlier, not just in between the lines on the practice field and game field, but this guy mentors those kids in that Karr community in Algiers off the field, making sure that they're doing the right things off the field, and he's got such a tall task, and he meets every element of it.
It's been fun to see their rise.
Oh, yeah, look, and it started with Don Watney. Don Watney was a junior high coach, took Karr from a junior high on the West Bank over on the Algiers of Orleans Parish, and turned it into a high school program, won a state champion. He retired, and we'll go through the historical coaching legends of Karr, but it came from junior high background, with the great Don Watney being the guy that started that program.
Brown was hired in February of 2015 and has won 5 state championships since. Last year's title was their first since 2019. They were in a drought. Can't win it every other year. All right, out of the timeout, 3rd and 17. The line to gain is the 3. 3 down linemen. Over the middle, in and out of the hands, in the end zone. Thought they had a chance to come down with this one, and that was Luther Loyal of Rummel.
Luther Loyal had a big pick last week against Jesuit to ice the game, to win the game for the Rummel Raiders. He almost came up with another one right there. Just don't know where Johnson was throwing the ball that time. Everything's covered up. They were trying to run seams down the hash. Everything very well covered by the secondary of Rummel. Maybe he was just trying to get rid of the ball in a spot that he thought nobody could get to. Loyal had something to say about that.
It looked like time ran out on the clock, but Coach Brown was out there saying 1 second should be put back on the clock, and that will either give them a chance to heave one to the end zone or potentially kick a field goal. We'll see what they choose to do here. Still an opportunity to tie our game up going into the half. Johnson with a throwing touchdown tonight and an interception. Chris Parker of Rummel had the INT. Coach Monica knows that his defense good enough for one more play, trying to keep Karr out of the end zone.
Karr goes empty. They're going to spread that secondary out and try to get the matchups and the man coverage of Rummel. Nope, they're in zones.
From the 20, Johnson to the face of the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Karr. Gregory Wilfred. 1 second put back on the clock, and Karr takes advantage.
Down and distance, 1 second on the clock, it doesn't matter. They know how to find the end zone. They know how to attack a defense. Rummel jumps into a 2-eye zone that time. Little bit more cushion given. It allows Wilfred to get loose in between the 2 safeties. Hey, how about that throw from John Johnson? He threads the safeties to be able to put it on Wilfred. What a throw, what a catch. Let's see if they go for 2 here. Looks like they are. They will be going for 2.
So it is 14-12 Rummel. We're waiting on the scoreboard to update, and now our score populates. Man in the backfield, Trey Garrison. Johnson pitches wide. Garrison in space, gets hit, falls back into the end zone. It's good, and we're tied up. Edna Karr with 8 points to end the first half.
Well-executed lead option. You can see the pressure by Rummel right here. Johnson gives up the ball on the pitch. Garrison gets into the end zone. Unless you hit him early, you give him a head of steam, he's going to pick up 3 yards downhill, right? And that's exactly what he did. They picked up the 2 points, and this ball game is tied going in half.
A 65-yard drive for Karr to tie things up here in District 9 5A. We're ready to go down on the field with our Steve Schneider.
Guys, we have Nick Monica, this Karr Cougar team, 372 points in 8 games with Louisiana schools. Other than that play with 1 second and one guy that got deep on you, your defense has really been playing lights out.
Yeah, we are. Got to clean up a lot of stuff. And then the tempo, not handling it very well, and we should be. We should be ready for it. But, yeah, that's a huge play right there. And then earlier we let them get out. We let them get out the well. We had them 14-0 in third and long, backed up. Didn't do a good job playing cover 3.
Let's talk about how you jumped out 14-0. You had said you have athletes on your roster, maybe not as many as they do, but just talk about some of those guys and how they were ready for the moment to make big plays for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think our O-line's doing a pretty good job. Right now, the focus is just getting first downs. We got to shrink the game and try to get into the fourth quarter.
Is there one message that you'll leave with them before you come back out for this second half?
Just keep fighting, keep competing. Same as every week. Just go out and compete, okay? And we'll look up in the fourth quarter and see what it looks like.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck. That's it.
Great stuff, Steve. It was touchdown runs by J.T. Terrence and Karan Hawkins that put Rummel up 14-0, and then Karr at 14 unanswered. Halftime rolls when we return.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
The start of school means the start of new sports seasons, which unfortunately can mean injuries. Too often, sports injuries are treated with opioids, leading to addiction among our youth. And drug addictions can cause overdoses and deaths. If you're injured, ask your doctor for medicines and therapies that don't use opioids. And if you're struggling with opioid addiction, we can offer treatment. Opioid addiction is a losing game. You can help. Learn more at realhelpvr.com. That's realhelpvr.com.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
We're back at the Shrine on Airline, the LHSAA Network Game of the Week, Week 10, and you see the Karr Faithful Band getting it out here. Their team rallied to tie it up 14-all. Now's a chance to see highlights from the Baton Rouge City Swim Meet, some of the best teams from across the state of Louisiana. LHSAA Network reporter Spencer Barrett filed this report.
The Baton Rouge City Championships for swimmers across the area, the last chance to compete against other schools before the state swim meet. The winners on the boys' side, the Catholic High Bears, led by head coach Sean Kavanaugh. Standouts for the Bears included Qua Wynn and Noah Vargas.
Yeah, I mean, overall, really good swims. I'm very pleased with how we handled, a lot of these guys are handling 4 swims throughout the session. I mean, few lows, but mostly just highs today. A lot of season bests, a lot of lifetime bests, which when we're going lifetime bests and we still have a few weeks to go before state, I think we're in a really good position. And then above all else, the camaraderie, the brotherhood. I mean, our boys are hooping and hollering on deck, getting behind each other. You know, their teammates' successes are their own successes, and that just builds on themselves.
So I was just going into my races thinking, of a certain strategy I was going to use, and I thought I executed them pretty well. There's still some areas for improvement, working on turns, underwaters, just general takeout speed, and those are the things I want to work on during practice.
I mean, it's a lot. It's really just pushing it all in the beginning, so you really got to put it all in, and no matter what, you have to put 100% in every single event, and you can't think about those in the back. But you really just got to push through it and get to that back half.
They absolutely did, and Qua handled himself really well. Qua front-loaded. Unfortunately, I have to front-load his meet. That's just where I need him. So he had 3 swims real quick, back to back to back, and had to manage them, and still got up and went fast. Ended up winning the 100 fly for us and giving us a really good anchor on that 200 free relay. And then Noah, I mean, all positive things to say about Noah. He, again, has to handle 4 swims appropriately. He swam down threw down a monster 200 IM, in which, honestly, his closing speed is what really impresses me. He just fights through the pain, gets his hand on the wall, and figures out a way to win races, even in that 100 breaststroke. It was tight at the 50, not so tight after the 100.
Coach Kavanaugh always emphasizing the energy his team brings, and that was on display. His guys on deck making noise to help his swimmers. Qua and Noah certainly loved being a part of it.
Oh, you can't really describe the feeling. It's always amazing. You just have a bunch of adrenaline flowing through you. It's very energetic.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's always, you just feel that whole team behind you. If you don't want to do it for yourself, you got to do it for the team. They're always there pushing you because iron sharpens iron. We all push each other to be our best selves no matter what.
On the girls' side, it was St. Joseph's Academy leading the way. Coach Jimmy Roberts and his girls looking to make another run at a state championship in a couple weeks.
Well, I think most of the kids are still in training. I think when you put on the suits and you have this kind of environment, people just step up and then probably swim faster than they think they can. Some of my girls, I asked them their goal times, why not think a little faster? We had a girl break a team record, probably the first time we broke a team record in about 5 years. Outstanding relay swims. I mean, we won 2 relays, but the last one, even though we lost, that was phenomenal swim, and that's what we need. Prep. We need that competition as we look forward to the end of the season.
The standout on the day for the Angels, as they're called in swimming, was Molly Mayo. Coach Roberts with a special group at St. Joe's.
Well, obviously Molly Mayo. When you win 2 events, you're on a winning relay, that 200 medley relay. Like I said, she's the one that broke the 200 IM team record for us. She was a standout. It's an individual and team sport, but Molly was the one that was the star of our team this weekend.
Plenty of notable teams and swimmers outside of those 2, though. Parkview Baptist finished 2nd in the girls and should be a strong pick for a state championship run with some talented swimmers. Baton Rouge Magnet also provided some great swimmers on the day across girls and boys. Coach Margaret Hall loved what she saw from her group on the day.
So I'll be honest, yesterday we had a really great day at prelims, and I was a little worried about keeping the momentum going, but they came back today. They kept it going. They had high energy. We actually had 2 school records broken today. So our boys broke the 200 medley relay record, and then individually Vaughn broke the 200 individual medley record. So that was and those are both at the beginning of the meet. So we started off really strong, kept it going, and I was really happy with today.
Daruk Sayal was a great standout on the day, winning the 100-yard freestyle. Sayal, just a junior, ready to compete at state.
I think I did pretty good for our city meet. We don't really taper for city meet that much. We only have a day off tapering just to get us a bit ready. So I think I did fine. My events were more closer together than I would like to be. Doing 1 free to 2 free relay to 1 breast was kind of close to me, so I didn't really have enough time to get ready for 1 breast, but I'm satisfied with my performance.
Oh man, Daruk is just energy. He is positive, he is ambitious, and he is one of those kids who's just going to keep setting his bar higher and higher. And what's cool about it is not only does he set that bar higher, but he just continues to set it and meet it.
Reporting for the LHSA Network, I'm Spencer Verrett.
At Breck Golf, our courses are your courses. A place for family and friends to come together to enjoy the great outdoors, to work on your swing, or get in the game. It's all just minutes away. With convenient locations around the parish and online tee time bookings, It's easy to find your next hole-in-one with Breck Golf.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
The LHSAA Network TV app features a 24/7 live channel as well as on-demand content with all the high school sports you want, and it's totally free. The app is available for download on TV-connected devices, including Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. It's the only place where every day is game day. Download the LHSAA Network TV app today.
Welcome back to the LHSAA Network Game of the Week here at the Shrine on Airline. Edna, Karr, and Rummel tied up 14 apiece in a good one. We also have other Catholic League action across town at Tad Gormley, where Warren Easton is losing to Jesuit 21-7. Hey, let's take a look at this week's Pick Six, put together by our Steve Schneider.
Welcome to the Week 9 Pick Six. Yeah, scary, I know. It's our Halloween edition, starting with Where's the Beef? We found it at Dutchtown, where LSU's mammoth O-line recruit turned tight end, turned goal line QB, Bryson Martinez, crashed in for 6, leading his Spartans to a 2-point win over the Griffins. Pick 2 came in a defensive struggle won by the U-High Cubs, whose D didn't allow a single point to second-ranked Madison Prep. But they didn't get a shutout because Mason Melançon's high-arching punt, covered by 2 Cub gunners, didn't keep quarterback and kick returner Landon Johnson from tricking them into an escape or treating the Chargers fans to a house call right down the visitor's sideline. It temporarily gave Madison Prep an 8-0 halftime lead, but the Cubs prevailed 14-8. Pick 3 would be number 3 and 1-3. That's right, 2 Turlings Catholic stars. Let's start with the defender, Carter Maha. Number 3, a problem for the Cougars quarterback Cole Bergeron, forcing an errant throw that turned into a takeaway. The other factor for the Rebels' 9-0 start, number 13 quarterback Alex Munoz, who terrorized the Cougars defense both with his arm and with his legs. The Rebels would rout STM 38-14, the final, earning their first win over the Cougars in a decade. Pick 4 is the Neville Tigers' fourth quarter comeback at West Monroe. After leading 14-0, the Tigers would trail late and only regain the lead when Parker Robinson found Desi Berg for a 49-yard TD. When the Rebels missed a potential game-tying field goal, the 22-19 victory was Neville's first at West Monroe since '92. For Pick 5, 22 points wasn't quite enough, as Peyton Pop Houston and his Evangel Eagles played an epic battle at Lafayette Christian. The fireworks weren't limited to just the pregame, whether it was the back and forth from the outset, which included his counterpart for the Knights, Braylon Walker. There were enough thrills and spills to please plenty in the packed house, who witnessed the LSU recruit navigate nearly an entire defense of would-be tacklers, giving his team the lead. But it was Jude Fairchild's field goal that gave the home team a 24-22 advantage with time running out. And running out is what Pop did in the closing seconds. But he gets popped as he's about to reach the goal line, and coughing up that fumble cost Evangel a chance to win. Pick 6 is just one play Ash fans were hoping for in the final seconds after Ouachita tied their Trojans 21-21. Carson Sellers to Cason Williams covering 39 yards for the game winner as time is running out, Hey, make sure you join us Friday for Week 10 highlights at 11 p.m. Where? I'm Steve Schneider with my sidekick Troy LaBeouf and another Pick Six.
So it's going to come down to this. Can they do it? Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute! There's a flag on the play!
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
Halftime coming to a close on our LHSAA Network Game of the Week. A nice look of the Vucare here in the Crescent City. Glad you're with us for Edna, Karr, and Rummel starting off Week 10 here at the Shrine on Airline. It's my pleasure to be joined by Wade Kaiser, Garrett Walvard with you. Wade, Rummel put a jolt into the stadium here. Went up 14-0, but as expected, Karr weathered the storm and tied it up.
Karr knows how to come back, right? I mean, as I've talked about in the first half, it doesn't matter down and distance. It doesn't matter penalties. It doesn't matter where the ball is on the field. They know how to score points, and that's exactly what they did. They exhibited that in the first half.
Let's take a look at some highlights here. And on the board first, of course, is Rummel.
Yeah, a little trick play right there. Throwback to the halfback from the quarterback. That was Jaden Terrace right there.
Gets them on the board first. Rummel's got a little momentum.
Well, here we go, Terrence again. JT out to the edge. Not a very good job by that Karr defense setting the edge. He's down the sideline, tiptoeing, and he gets knocked out. Now about the 5 to set up their next score on the tush push by Coron Hawkins. He gets shoved into the end zone by everything in a red jersey, right? That's the Metairie tush push.
At this point, it's 14-0 Rummel.
Yeah, well, John Johnson knows how to air the ball out, right? One of his favorite targets in the first half, Floyd Jones. This is the Floyd Jones drive. He goes up and gets that, and we'll see here in a second, he comes back into the picture to cap off a touchdown right here. Floyd Jones gets into the end zone to score the Karr's first points of the game.
75 yards on those two catches.
Look at this. Look at how that ball is spinning, but it's a little too high. Chris Parker bats it. Gets the tip batted up in the air to him by the defense, and he returns it for Rummel.
But the Cougars will get a stop back on offense.
And look at John Johnson spin it to number 3, Gregory Wilford. Gregory Wilford wide open on the slant pass, and then there's the guy of the night that knows how to run the football for the Karr Cougars, Trey Garrison, getting in for the 2-point conversion from the 3-yard line.
Both teams back out of their respective locker rooms for the half. Let's go get an update on the field with our Steve Schneider.
Guys, I talked to Bryce Brown. You won't be surprised by one thing he was concerned about with this team, all those holding calls. They definitely have to clean that up. They've cost a lot of opportunities and a lot of yardage for sure. The other thing he said is we got to be smarter with these trick plays. We've got to see them, read them, and make the right play. They've been fooled a few times with some of the plays that Rummel has had success on. Back up to you.
Steve, great stuff. Thank you very much. Karr won the coin toss and deferred, so the Cougars should receive to get things going here in the second half. How important is it for that Rummel defense to come out and make a statement and say, hey, I know you've run off 14 points in a row, but that stops now?
Well, look, both teams need to make a statement, but defensively to stand up to this quick attack that Karr brings with them with the tempo, adjusting to the tempo. Hopefully they got that straight at halftime. They get a 3 and out. That will do wonders for their mojo the second half, right? That would be huge for Rummel to take the ball, in 3 downs, get off the field defensively, and to get their offense back on the field running clock, which is one of their key of the game, is to shorten that game down get it close in the fourth quarter.
Already a touchdown in the game. Gregory Wilfred back deep to receive for Karr. And ready to kick off, Robert Vargas. Vargas, the 5'6" senior, puts a boot into it, kicks it into the corner, and that will roll out at about the 4. So no chance for a long return by Karr. John Johnson in the first half of play, 2 passing touchdowns and an interception. Cougars looking to get on track here with good field position.
So how does Karr make a statement? The bottom line is they've got to move some sticks here and come away with points. You know, they can come away with points. They know how to do that. They're just going to have to put together a drive or some sort of splash play and get on the board. And they love those splash plays, right? With the talent that they have all over the field at their skill positions.
Tomorrow night we'll have another huge Catholic League matchup here at the Shrine. John Curtis and St. Aug facing off. Purple Knights under Coach Robert Valdez are 8-1. Their only loss coming to Karr. 1st and 10 from the 35. Man in motion in the flats. Wilfred spins, catches over the 40 and up towards midfield for the first down.
So they take Wilfred and put him in the backfield, right? Change your formation around a little bit. Give a little bit different look. So they take the wide receiver, put him in the backfield, and they run a little wide receiver screen or a flare screen out there and get it into his hands. Block out on the edge. What do? They pick up a first down with it. Nice execution, nicely drawn play.
Rummel had 1 sack in the first half. That was Jacoby Dunn, number 7 on the line. He got to John Johnson. 3-man front. Johnson, time to throw to Wilfred. Right side this time, and then the wood is laid by 29, Luther Loyal.
Comes up from his corner position and just lays the wood, as you said, Garrett. Boom, right there. Nicely done. Good tackle.
Still 2nd and 10 for Edna Karr. From their own 48, 3 wide, bottom of your screen. Can they find number 4, Floyd Jones? Johnson sees something with the defense of Rummel.
They see the blitz coming off his left side. Did it come? Nope.
Macklin in the backfield. This ball's tipped and caught. Another interception for the Rummel defense. Tyrus Franklin, the 5'8" junior.
That ball was tipped by Carlin Kitchen right into Tyrus Franklin's hands. Kitchen was playing the cat and mouse game off the edge with Johnson. That's why he stopped and recalculated and got his offense reset right there. He couldn't decide whether or not Kitchen was coming off of the edge from his outside linebacker position.
It's still early in the second half, but statement made. Nice job by Rummel's defense to flip the field.
Well, there you go. There's the statement. You're absolutely correct. And look at the field position again. They're starting their next drive.
Ball on their own 47-yard line. 3 wide. Time for Singleton. He'll take off. Gets to midfield and scampers into the Karr sideline.
Singleton can make you miss, right? I mean, he's not the burner, but he's a guy that has enough speed to be able to give you that one move, get away from you, as he did right there, and pick up some positive yardage when everything is covered up downfield.
For Rummel, Tyler Holden, number 17, was their starter for 8 weeks. Coach Monica decided to make a change. Second half against Jesuit, he inserted the wide receiver Singleton. He's getting his first start tonight, and they've gotten a nice return on their decision. Singleton with the clock down to 7, down to 6. Middle of the line is Richard Anderson trying to cause some havoc, and they did not get the ball away. Coach Monica at the top of your screen is calling timeout right next to the official. It ended up being a delay of game.
Well, they got the Karr Cougar band over there blasting, right? So maybe the official couldn't hear Nick Monica, or the offense couldn't hear the commands coming from Singleton. But any way you look at it, they're going to get the delay of game. That's what they, can't have is those type of pre-snap penalties that takes them off schedule.
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but there is no band inside the Superdome that sounds louder than Edna Karr's when the Cougar faithful are getting it. Here's Anderson, middle of the line, and he'll get a stop. Big number 7, 6'3", 240, making it tough sledding.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, they were playing St. Aug right here, and it was not only a battle on the field, it was a battle of the bands in that stadium, right? And the crowd turned out and saw a great performance by those guys. Look at number 7 right there. That's your boy Richard Anderson, as you said, right? That LSU commit. Look, I walked past him tonight as they were coming in the stadium. Look, he's a man.
All-State a year ago, 7 tackles in the championship game and a sack in the end zone for a safety against Ash. Singleton's pass is just a little low. Can't bring this one back in. That was Mark Shesby, the tight end, the intended target.
Yeah, just at his feet. Not a very good pass by Singleton that time. I will say this. Great job on the protection right there by that Rummel offensive line. You saw them doing a great job on Richard Anderson right there, making him stifled right at the line of scrimmage.
Number 6, Kylan Jones was gunning for him. We've got a punt blocked by Karr. This one's picked up for the Cougars. Heading into the end zone is Rummel Kendall. Touchdown Karr. That is 20 unanswered by the Cougars.
Well, it was Jermichael Quinn coming off the edge, making the hit with both hands. Nobody touched him in that shield, and it was a scoop and score by Rummel Kendall. Wow, look, that's something he's going to be looking at Thanksgiving night, right? Running that play back and forth, telling everybody in his family about how he scooped and scored in Week 10 of this season.
You'll see those highlights on social later tonight. Getting ready to come in for the extra point, Brian Castellon. It's up and good. 21-14, Edna Karr on top for the first time tonight.
I wonder what's going on in that conversation right there. Great look at your block right there. You can see 29, no one touches him, correct? And he just comes off that left edge. Jermichael Quinn has the block of his life and scooping and scoring, holding that number 1 up right there. You practice that in practice every day as a defensive player, picking that ball up and running with it. Rummel Kendall executes what goes on every day of practice.
Kendall picks up the fumble and returns it 35 yards for the touchdown.
You know, that could be the turning factor right there, the momentum swing, the big mojo for the Karr Cougars in the second half. You know, and that usually always happens. And every time I watch Karr play, you know, they have some things that go against them. They give up some points here, some points there, but then there's always an explosive play, whether it's on the special teams or a interception return or a deep pass for a touchdown. Something always happens that is an explosive play that gives them the mojo. Great look from our camera crew at field level.
Castellon from the 40. Low kickoff, fielded at the 17-yard line. A big smothering tackle from behind by number 35 of Karr, Wellington Cornyn.
Well, Rummel's got to answer here. Garrett, they're going to have to get a couple of first downs, settle themselves down here a little bit, and that's exactly what's going on right there in that huddle. That's what their coaches are saying. You know, let's settle ourselves down right now and let's move the sticks and get back on the game plan offensively. They've got the formula. They need to execute it. They've got to have a memory of a goldfish.
We talked about Karr putting 11 kids into scholarship offers a year ago. Rummel lost some kids to college scholarships as well. Wildcat and minimal gain for JT Terrence. They lost their quarterback, Bug, who's now at Louisiana Christian. Jamar Jones is at Nichols, and Linus Finister is at Southeastern. So Rummel continues a long tradition of putting players to the next level playing on Saturdays.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Both of these programs fill up college rosters, right? from FCS schools to Division III schools, all the way up to your FBS top tier elite Power 4 schools.
Karan Hawkins with the keeper. No gain on the run over right side.
Well, you can see a little hop in that Karr Cougar defensive step right now, right? They're getting off blocks a little bit quicker. They're getting to the ball a little bit faster. You can tell they're walking around with a little swagger right now, and you can see it coming out of big Richard Anderson right there. He's kind of telling everybody how he's feeling.
Number 90, Nigel Marshall, clogging up the middle as well with Anderson. So Karan Hawkins, the junior tailback in the Wildcat. And it looks like Nate Singleton with him as well. He'll take the snap. Quick little pass out to Hawkins in the flat. And I don't know if his teammate didn't hold a block, but he is brought down for no gain.
Well, he's out there and he runs into Aiden Hall. Aiden Hall sets it up out there and tackles Hawkins on the little swing pass, right? But I want everybody watch the number 90 coming from inside out. I'm just going to let the screen talk. And number 7. Here comes number 90 and 7 right there. Look how fast they got out there, right? Those guys running so fast as if somebody's taking away the food, right? That's how fast they're flying out there to that edge.
Punt by Joseph Carapina, trying to get this one away. Back deep is Gregory Wilfred, the former Destrehan transfer. They come at the edge. Carapina gets it off this time. Wilfred fields it on a hop at the 30. Cuts back, goes left, and will be dragged down. Nice job on special teams coverage. And the tackle made by Shesby.
Yeah, Shesby can tackle too. He can not only catch the football, but he covers punts, right? Nice job on the coverage team, the punt coverage team by Rummel.
Hey, for the second year running, the LHSAA Network brings you a 1-hour football highlight show that covers the entire state of Louisiana, from Bossier to the Bayou. Friday night in the boot will have it all. Make sure to watch each Friday night this fall starting at 11 p.m. You can catch the show on the LHSAA Network live channel or watch it live on the Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network. Week 10, make sure and catch Steve Schneider and Troy LaBeouf. So Karr back out on the field. They've run off 21 unanswered points here at the Shrine on Airline. Johnson hands off to Trey Garrison. Makes one man miss. Boy, he's so tough to tackle, and he's over the 40.
Got a flag down at about the 25-yard line. Probably a hold out there on the edge. Looks like a preliminary penalty. Just what Bryce Brown didn't want to see, right, was another holding penalty. I think they got Greg Wilford holding right out there on the edge to be able to spring Garrison. So it'll be 1st and 20 from the 20.
Edna Karr opened the year with a 35-0 shutout of Archbishop Shaw at Morris Jeff. And then they played American Heritage from Florida. That was the only game this year where they were tested in the fourth quarter. Pass intended for 88. In and out of over the hands. John Johnson, 2nd and 20 coming up.
Yeah, his intended receiver was Joshua Ford. Johnson kind of sailed that over his head. I don't know if that was on purpose and he's going to come back to live another down, or if it just was a bad throw. Rummel goes to zone coverage that time and did a nice job on the back end.
Karr won that game with the Florida team ranked 10th in the country, 24-17 in overtime. A little pressure at the line. Johnson will hand off to Garrison, right side, drugged down after a gain of 2. So 3rd and long coming up for the Cougars, who lead by a score.
You know, you get that holding penalty, and it kind of really puts a crimp in Karr's style right there on this particular drive. Usually it doesn't. Usually they find a way to wiggle their way out of it with their athletic talent. Right now they're in a little bind because of that holding penalty.
Johnson smartly keeps it, pulls back, and will just go down at the 20 with the pressure coming in from Rummel's D.
Mitchell Harris does a very nice job right there, kind of coordinating and rounding up John Johnson. Watch this right here. Here's how he gets contained on the little quarterback draw. Nicely done. You can see number 1 right there. Mitchell Harrison just sitting, comes to balance, breaks down, and Johnson just slides down so he doesn't have to take the hit.
89, Glenn Gurley is set to punt. He is standing just in front of his own 5-yard line. The quarterback, Nate Singleton, ready to receive for Rummel, and they just got it away. Singleton will let it bounce and roll by him, and boy, another 15 yards tacked onto that one. At least call for a fair catch.
All right, that's my pet peeve. Look, I'm going to get on a soapbox for a minute, all right? That's called hidden yardage, right? You just can't let that ball bounce and roll in a game like this. Hidden yardage is your kryptonite, right? You got to get that hand up. You got to get guys to give you room, and you've got to catch that football. You know, as good of an athlete Singleton is, and as well coached he is, and everything, I'm sure he's going to get schooled up on that real quick when he gets over to the boundary, or this evening when they get back to Severn Avenue, right? You just can't let that ball bounce like that. I am now off my soap opera. My soapbox. Soapbox.
Love
right?
it.
But I mean, that just ripped me. That would rip me on Saturday morning.
So they'll start this one from the 37-yard line. Missed tackle by Karr. First down and more for the tight end, Shesby.
The other thing that used to rip me was missed tackles. We kept a stat on missed tackles, right? Now, everybody talks about tackles for losses, fumble recoveries, interceptions, all of those big stats, right? My big stat was missed tackles on defense. That's a killer. You've got to make contact when contact is supposed to be made. That's what you do on defense, right?
Washington with a fresh set of downs after that first down pass. In the backfield is JT Terrence. Terrence leaps forward. Rummel's looked very good the last 2 weeks. They beat Holy Cross 24-3 and edged Jesuit 21-17. Jesuits 5-4, winning record in Catholic League play.
Well, look, that's a Catholic league. Anybody can beat anybody in this league on any given week, right? They're all well-coached schools. They all have really good players. They're all educationally sound with what they're doing at their school and their missions of all their schools.
Micah Green, bottom of the screen, comes inside and can't bring that one down.
Out there on the coverage was Eldrick Cambries doing a nice job at his corner position, squeezing that slant route off. Well coached, using your downfield arm to wrap and using your upfield arm to try to knock the ball away in that man coverage. You see that every Saturday and Sunday. Guys not doing it well. Cambridge did it right.
Rummel's gotten away from the run. Back-to-back passes on first down. Flushed out of the pocket. Singleton dropped for a loss. Huge stop by Kylan Jones.
Kylan Jones gets home, right? Can he run or not? Watch the blitz right here. Here it comes, Kylan Jones right here, comes off the edge and just runs down Singleton. No place to go, and he is pumped up.
Juels Batiste with that pressure coming from the edge. That flushed him out of the pocket. So 3 punts in a row for Rummel. Again, back deep, Wilfred. From the 49-yard line, Carapina gets this away. Fielded back at the 8-yard line. Wilfred splits 2 of the special teams, stays on his feet at the 30, cuts back inside. Someone's going to have to tackle him. He's over midfield, up to the 40. A heck of a return for over 50 yards by Gregory Wilfred.
I was going to fuss him for not letting that ball go in the end zone, right? That's the coach in me. I would have been on that boundary just fussing, but I would have been then saying, go. Somebody give him a block, right? Usually Rummel, a really good coverage team, Wilfred just slices and dices that thing and sets up a splash play on special teams for Karr. And they're in great position now with the ball inside Rummel territory.
5 Raiders got a hand on him before they finally took him down with Barthélemy. Trey Garrison runs off left side, picks up positive yards, a little over 2 minutes remaining in our third quarter.
Watch Karr go back to their tempo, right? Get their plays in quickly, get to the line, get set, and let's get rolling. They are much better when they are going fast.
Fullback in, number 45, Cameron Mumford, 5'11", 250. Love to run behind a big man like that. Garrison riding left side of Johnson. Johnson pumps, delivers, downfield to Owens. Owens can't hold on to it.
Can't hold on to it, neither can the safety Chris Parker, who was coming from his free safety position to get across the top. Take a look at Parker right in the center of your field. Look how he opens his hips up. That is great technique by a free safety in single high coverage with man everywhere else on the field. He knew he had a chance to get a pick right there, but he was out of bounds. Ball sailed. It was a double move, a little pump and go by John Johnson.
3 times tonight they have tried to get the lanky Owens open on that post. Now 3rd and 3, passing play. All alone is Wilfred. Cuts back in, and he'll move the sticks.
Jumped into a 3-high zone, or 1 high, cover 3 zone that time, and they switched off the route underneath. Johnson reads it here and gets it to his low route, which was Wilfred right there for the first down.
Garrison can't tackle him with just 1 man. They'll finally bring him down inside the 15. He's had a fine night running the football for the Cougars.
Did I say he runs angry? And I tell you what, he takes it to you. That's what you look for in a running back. Guys that are going to attack when they have the ball in their arms. Right?
40 seconds left. Ball on the 17-yard line for Karr. They just need 2. Garrison will deliver up to the 15-yard line. Clock continues to run.
Philip Lees hits him in the backfield, and Garrison runs right through his arms. Impressive, right? I was impressed with him when I saw him twice last year, especially in the Dome. Impressed again tonight.
They'll say it's 3rd and short, but that doesn't matter. Garrison at the 5, stretches for the end zone. Waiting for the call, touchdown, Karr. Trey Garrison scores from 15 yards out. They had 3 different defenders get a hand on him, but he's into the end zone.
Look, he can take a team on his back and carry it, right? Because that's the type of player he is. He runs the inside zone right there. Nicely done, makes 3 people miss, and finally he carries a defender, Tyrus Franklin, into the end zone for a TD, right? Very, very, very impressive.
Garrison had the 2-point conversion as we went to the half. He's got his first touchdown tonight, and that's 28 unanswered for the state's defending champion, Edna Karr.
And he's telling everybody about it on the boundary. Just feed me the ball. Feed me the ball. That's what he's saying.
The High School Spotlight is in its 3rd season and airs live on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on the LHSAA Network Live channel. The High School Spotlight features all the top stories in high school athletics from around the state in all LHSAA sports. Catch up with the host, Taylor Nettle, with the High School Spotlight. Boy, the Karr fans have had a lot to cheer about here, especially in the 2nd and 3rd quarters. They have scored 4 touchdowns unanswered.
Well, they got it rolling, right? Coming out of the locker room, they seem to hit a switch, right? They drop it, they drop it from 4th gear down into 5th, right? I mean, they just turn it up to a whole different level. And if you can't match that level, if you can't match what is going on with them when they shift gears, ball game can get away from you real quick.
You got to like Trey Garrison. You saw him there. Hi, Mom, from the sidelines.
Well, good for him. That's what it's all about, right? You better say hi to his mom.
Rummel with 7 seconds left in the 3rd will receive the kickoff. So the Cougars have weathered the storm, trailing 14-0. Rummel needs an answer. Long run. Mitchell Harris Jr. up to about the 35-yard line, took a hard hit. And he's a little slow coming up.
Look, Nick Monica and the Rummel offense cannot complain about their starting position tonight on their drive. Once again, they're taking it off at really nice positioning.
And the third quarter comes to a close from the Shrine on Airline. Stay with us, the conclusion of our game in the fourth quarter here on the LHSAA Network Game of the Week.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
The LHSAA Network TV app features a 24/7 live channel as well as on-demand content with all the high school sports you want, and it's totally free. The app is available for download on TV-connected devices, including Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. It's the only place where every day is game day. Download the LHSAA Network TV app today.
Saturday, November 15th.
A great Thursday night here in the Crescent City to open up Week 10. Special week all across the state of Louisiana. Rummel with possession to start the fourth quarter, trailing Karr 28-14. Coach, Week 10 really hits home for a lot of players across the state, especially the seniors. Once the game's over, a lot of them are going to stick around a little longer than they normally plan to, take in the final sights, what could be their final home game.
Well, you're absolutely correct because, you figure some teams will not be playing next week after Week 10, and then there are those teams that it's going to be, getting a chance to be in the playoffs. They've got a little bit of life, a little extended season, right? But they also understand that it's one and done once you're in the playoffs.
Great chance to soak it up with the family and teammates, especially those small town schools. Here's Singleton, play action, pass into the flats to Terrence. Terrence has room to run. He's over the 40 and out of bounds. First down for Rummel. That was huge.
Well, we saw this when they were having success back in the first quarter. Okay, the little swing passes off of the play action right there, getting it out what would be just a toss sweep out there, if you want to say, getting it into the hands of your guys that know that you can have success with, and that's what they did in the first quarter. They're getting back to it now in the fourth.
Terrence just put Haywood Howard on skates with that deke. That was an impressive showing there. First and 10 from the 35-yard line. And off to Hawkins. Flag in the backfield, most likely a hold. Hawkins down the sideline. He didn't see the flag. He runs into the end zone, and it's called a touchdown. We'll see if the Laundry brings it back.
I think that's going to come back. You got the right tackle.
So a 35-yard gallop by Karr Hawkins wiped off the board.
That hurts, man. From a coaching standpoint, that hurts. I think they got the right tackle, number 75.
Michael Smith.
But he throws his hands up right there at the end. Hold on. It wasn't me. It was either Michael Smith or 81 Jamarcus Jones. But look, I'm all for those guys that throw their hands up and throw the palms and say, hey, it wasn't me, right? I give them the benefit of that.
Now first and 20 coming up for the Raiders with 11:05 remaining. From the 45-yard line. Nice little catch. Out of the backfield comes J.T. Terrence, and the 5'9 junior gets positive yardage.
Double screen. Look one way, throw it to the tunnel on the opposite side. Nicely executed. I saw them working on this week in practice. And you can see J.T. Terrence kind of gets out, looks one way, and comes back under his lineman, gets behind that wall in there, and they just drop the ball over the defense's head for a nice nice little gain, but it's still 2nd and 12, right? Those holding penalties just really put a grip in your side.
Too wide, bottom of your screen. Man in the backfield is Karr Hawkins with 1 touchdown tonight. He splits out. Down the field goes Singleton, trying to drop it into the breadbasket of Mark Shesby. 3rd and long coming up.
Taking a shot on the seam route to Shesby, right? Shesby trying to beat the man coverage right down the center of the field. They were trying to drop a dime, just had too much air under it. That's where, Singleton obviously getting his first start. He's been brought in for a couple of games in the past couple of weeks. Some of his timing is a little off and touch.
It'll be 12 yards on 3rd down. And Rummel can really win here if they just stay on the field and get a fresh set of downs against Karr, who has all the momentum and has scored 4 touchdowns in a row. Been a nice night for the purple and gold band. Here's Singleton. Has a hole to run through. Goes left side. Singleton's got room to run. Goes wide and will be knocked out at the 5-yard line. 30-yard scamper for Nate Singleton.
Well, it's just what the doctor ordered right there for the Rummel offense, right? And Singleton was the electricity that supplied it. Is there a flag? Looks like there is a flag. Oh, my goodness, a holding penalty.
2nd long run nullified on this drive. The other was around the end for J.T. Terrence.
Let's see if we can find it. Great job keeping your eyes downfield. There it was, right on the right. Couldn't get a number right there. Maybe it was Bartholomew that might have had the hold from his guard position. Really couldn't tell, but did you see the feet?
It was actually Singleton. That was on me. That was down the field where they called it. So 1st and 10 coming up for Rummel. They'll have it just inside the 20. Nice cutback by Hawkins. Hawkins goes wide inside the 10 before he's brought down.
Well, the thing that helped on the holding penalty downfield, partner, was it only came back 10 yards from the spot right, so it still gave them the 1st and 10 off of Singleton's run. And then we get a great run right here on the inside zone by Hawkins. And it looks like there might be an injured player maybe.
The play is down to the 8-yard line.
Injured player, looks like down at about the 10-yard line maybe.
That's number 21 for Karr, Eldrick Cambrese. Cambrese drags him down, and it came down right on his ribs.
Yeah, hopefully he just got the wind knocked out of him, right? He's in a little pain. Maybe his head got hit real hard on the back of the turf when he came down too. Maybe he's a little groggy. But look, that's going back to that series of 2 plays that we've just seen. The holding penalty, everybody says, well, you shouldn't have that. It was downfield, like we finally determined. And with the Federation rules on the spot foul now, it still gave them the 1st down, which of course set up that 1st down play right there by Hawkins.
For Rummel now, 1st and goal, the ball on the 8-yard line, and bottom of your screen, you are able to see Cambrese pop up and walk off the field under his own power. That's great to see for the junior defensive back.
Yeah, it looks like he might have little cobwebs there. He's kind of popping his head up and down. Hopefully he's okay.
The injury gives Rummel a little time to mull over not just 1, but maybe 2 plays in a row to try and get in the end zone here against undefeated Edna Karr. Split out wide now is Singleton. And in the Wildcat, Hawkins and J.T. Terrence. 1st and goal at the 8. Running wide, here's Terrence. Cuts back inside, he's over the 5-yard line.
Old student body right, but out of Wildcat right. Get your blockers out in front. Make sure you block out on the edge. Pull a lineman out. Get him out there in front of you, and then pick up nice yardage inside the 5-yard line.
Hawkins had the 2nd touchdown of the game to put Rummel up 14-0. He's in the Wildcat here with the ball on the 4-yard line. This time it's into the hands of Hawkins. And a big tackle behind the line by Ian Gray, the junior. Shot out of a cannon, gets a TFL.
Yeah, Ian Gray's had a nice night tonight. He's done a couple of nice things. Has had a couple of tip balls, gets a big tackle for loss right there in a situation where somebody had to come up big for this Karr defense, and number 30, Ian Gray, did. Nice look at that young man right there. He's athletic.
Not sure if Hawkins was going to take the ball and then try and make a cut to the left, but running up the middle on Karr, not the easiest task. And you saw why there with Ian Gray. They lost a yard on the play. Singleton back under. That ball is tipped and into the end zone, incomplete pass.
Well, it's going to bring up 4th down, I believe, and I don't think a field goal is the answer here. I think you're going to have to hit 7, being a 2-score game right here. So it'll be interesting to see what they dial up. But looks like they're moving Singleton out to wide receiver, and they're going to be in Wildcat again with J.T. Terrence.
Singleton lined up on the left hash. Now he's in motion. And this pass just came out of the hands on 4th down, and a turnover. Not exactly what Rummel was trying to dial up.
Yeah, I said Terrence was at the Wildcat, but it was Hawkins. And Hawkins just looked like he had the ball slip out of his hands. Yep, just slipped. Oh, my goodness.
Forward pass. He's not able to break that forward. And I think they had brought back Singleton from that left wide receiver position. It was going to be a quick pass to him, try and get in the end zone. And it goes for naught. Karr is backed up deep on their own 6-yard line. But Rummel, a missed opportunity with 7:45 remaining.
Yeah, bad luck there. The ball just slipped out of the young man's hands. That's tough.
Trey Garrison through the defensive line, now into the linebackers. Gets up to about the 15-yard line. Gets a nice spot from the official. And the clock ticking against Rummel, who's still down 2 touchdowns.
Trey Garrison is the type of guy that can run your clock out for you. But, I don't know Karr has patience enough just to turn around and hand him the ball for 6 minutes or so. Something like that. With all the guys they have that they can put the ball in their hands with.
Garrison picked up 9 on that first, and he's got a first down here. That'll move the chains. Edna Karr has won 23 in a row and 33 of their last 35. Last loss came to Catholic High of Baton Rouge in the 2023 playoffs. What an exceptional job that Karr's coaching staff has done over the last 2+ years.
Yeah, they're ranked 9th nationally. I mean, this program has gone to new heights under Coach Brown and what he and his staff have done at the Algiers school.
1st and 10, Garrison, left side, running behind Raymond Hughes and Joels Bartholomew.
It's one of those things where it's like, who are we going to highlight tonight on our offense, right? I mean, I think they do a fantastic job of spreading the ball around. I talked about that earlier in the football game on making sure they're getting the ball in all the hands of their weapons and getting them nice and warmed up, right? But when there's somebody that's going to stand out for you, it's like, who are we picking tonight? Tonight's Garrison.
Macklin tries to pick up a blocker out of the backfield. This one's caught by Xavier Owens. He'll be tackled at about the 25-yard line.
Rummel might want to think about stopping that clock at a particular time here.
Clock continues to run, heading towards the 5-minute mark. Third and 4 coming up for the Cougars. Rummel needs a big stop here. That one's caught by Floyd Jones, who's still on his feet at the 40. stiff arms a man at midfield, and he's fired up.
I said, whoa, because there goes Floyd just running his route. Floyd Jones running his route, which was a nice dig route across the middle. And look how Johnson just delivers it right on his number 4. And then he's going to make people miss. What a great route. I love that dig route, especially when you get zone coverage and they sit right down inside the zone. You know, Floyd Jones understands zone coverage, knows where the holes are in zone coverage. You know, that means that he and all those receivers are in tune with their quarterback, John Johnson.
Wilfred in motion. It'll be a keeper by Johnson. Tries to get around the edge, and Gavin Cooper. And he's into Rummel territory. Karr this season is beating teams by an average of 45-10, and it's a consolation for Rummel. They have held the Cougars to their second lowest point score of the year. Only American Heritage of Florida kept them lower. Karr won that one 24-17.
Yeah, we did the American Heritage game back at the beginning of the season, and if there's a team that can play tennis with Karr, when I'm talking about you score, I score, you score, I score, right? American Heritage could do that at that particular time, and they were missing their number 1 quarterback recruit was hurt.
Johnson from the 48 picks up the first down, and it's a sprint to the end zone. Johnson at the 5, and he scores 48 yards. The longest run of the night for John Johnson. And Edna Karr has run off 34 unanswered.
Well, you open the door just a crack, right? And that's what has happened in the second half for Karr. And they turn on the switch. John Johnson turns it into another level, makes people miss, in and out, runs away from people, has all the tools. Opened up his recruiting again this week. Earlier in the year, committed to Liberty. That seems to be the MO for all of these athletes. They commit early and then they reopen, and he reopened his recruitment, and so I think people will be coming calling in the next couple of weeks.
35-14. Hey, you can catch the LHSAA Network Game of the Week during all 4 weeks of the postseason and then Week 5 inside the Superdome. The Louisiana High School Playoffs on the LHSAA Network. You can catch them new time, Fridays at 7 p.m. Check your local listings, and you can catch the games on the LHSAA Network app and YourView Cox 4 where available. Oh, it's the best time of the season, Coach.
Oh, yes,
getting into Thanksgiving, getting ready for some high school football playoffs, and it looks like Karr is playing some of their best football heading into Week 11.
No doubt. They're scoring 45.1 points a game, as we kind of hinted to a second ago, but here's the deal. They're only giving up 10.2.
Man, that's a game plan if you can run it that way.
Right. I mean, it's amazing. And Rummel tonight jumps up on them, 14-0. Have had a couple other opportunities, on their last drive here in the fourth quarter to keep it close. But like I said, if that door opens up a little bit, Karr knows how to turn the switch and just run away with it and put the dagger in your back.
Rummel could use an electrifying return here if they want to have any shot at breaking Karr back. Mitchell Harris is back deep. Coach Monica is saying, hey, they're not ready to kick off. Come back, let's have a powwow. 4:40 remaining on the clock. And if you're Rummel, you know you'll be in the playoffs.
You know you're going to probably have a home game. You might fall out of that top 8, not get a bye, but remember 9 through 16 on that particular bracket of 24 teams. 9 through 16 will have a first round home game, right? If you're 1 through 8, you're going to have a bye Week 1.
So the Edna Karr Cougars will have a bye Week 1 and a chance to defend their league title, feeling as healthy as they could possibly be. Last year, Karr in 4 playoff games outscored the competition 172-47. This one fielded at the 15-yard line by Harris. Up the gut to the 40. Shades one man. He's across midfield and driven down hard. Nice return by Mitchell Harris.
He said they needed to pop something, and they did. And look where they're starting their drive from. I've been saying that all night. Rummel cannot complain about where every drive tonight has started, right? They've been working on half fields for the most part. Great job blocking on this middle wedge. He hits the crease, and he's off to the races.
42 yards on the kickoff return, and Mitchell Harris needs a breather.
Yeah.
Nice run, young man.
He needs an oxygen mask, right? He's searching around.
3 wide set. Really a nice night tonight for Nate Singleton. Led Rummel to touchdown drives on the first 2 possessions. Trying to get them back into the end zone here with 4:25 remaining. Shesby makes the catch for minimal gain.
Haywood Howard is the guy that makes the play on Shesby right there. He is a Texas commit. We have not called his name much tonight, but he is a guy that can flat play back there, especially in man coverage. Good look at that young man right there.
Rummel went 9-3 a year ago, got into the second round. They beat McDonough 35, 50-25 in the first round. They fell to Catholic High 14-7 in the quarters. Karan Hawkins driving his feet forward, picks up a couple of extra yards. There's no quit in his tank.
Yeah. You talk about Rummel and Catholic High, it seems like every year somewhere in the playoffs there's a Rummel Catholic High matchup, right? Especially since, everything has gone select, non-select since, 2013, if I'm not mistaken. And so they've expanded the brackets. They've worked on that, but it seems that you're going to get a lot of your same matchups year in, year out. And one of them usually is Rummel Catholic. They've had some classic matchups in the playoffs.
They matched up in the semis in 2023 in Baton Rouge, a game marred by weather that Catholic ended up winning. Right. Rummel fans will remember a catch made in the end zone that was called an incomplete pass. They will argue till their dying days.
Yeah, they're still arguing about that.
2:45 remaining in our game. Rummel trying to get back into the end zone. Singleton looking to the sideline. They could use a little more pep in their step here with the clock winding out.
The thing I like about Singleton is he'll come into his own as he gets more reps at quarterback, especially as he heads into the playoffs, right? As I said earlier, there's a few of his timing issues that he is facing throwing the football. We got a timeout, I believe, we couldn't get the communication right.
We'll take a quick break, our man-to-man coverage, and keep it here with a window.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
When looking for college, I wanted somewhere that would push me and allow me to kind of be the person I'd always wanted to be.
Everyone here kind of has this mindset of seeing the next person succeed, and I think that just creates a Southern Miss spirit.
You find what you need out of Southern Miss. What I need isn't what another student needs, but we all find something here.
You don't have to be what people have said you've been. You don't have to be what people think you are. Like, coming to Southern Miss, you can totally reinvent yourself and be who you truly feel like you are meant to be.
You see Coach Monica, former quarterback for St. Charles Catholic back in the day, right,
Yeah,
Coach?
wing T guy. Played for me and also played for his dad. Hey, great athlete, great baseball player, all around great teammate at St. Charles Catholic.
He told me that his dad, Frank, splits time between Rummel games and St. Charles Catholic games, of course.
Well, he's here tonight. I saw him down on the sidelines earlier doing what Frank Monica does. He was holding court, right? I mean, look, Frank Monica, I was on his staff at Jesuit, and Frank Monica is one of my mentors, right? And I have so much love and respect for the whole Monica family, right? They're great folks, and Frank down there just talking to everybody he could see.
Into the game for the first time tonight at tailback, John Schnabel. He's a sophomore, 5'8", 155. There in the white shirt.
Oh, there he is.
Frank Monica.
The outstanding Hall of Fame, everything in the state of Louisiana, Frank Monica. With he's out there, watching, his son's team.
I did an interview with him about 10 years ago for the LHSAA, or the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Right. He was on the very first College World Series team
he was.
At Nichols.
Hey, great baseball player Nichols. A great baseball coach.
In at quarterback, 18, Jonathan Bourgeois. He'll hand off to Schnabel, who's tackled shy of the 30-yard line. That is a tackle for loss by guess who? Ian Gray.
Ian Gray. There's your father-son duo right there. Man, I tell you what, that is two great coaches. And, I was honored to be on Coach Monica's staff, and I had a great honor of coaching Nick when he was in high school. I know what Nick's doing right now with some of his players. He's getting some of his guys in there to get not only get them a couple of reps, but also get some of his players off the field so they do not experience some sort of freak accident heading into the playoffs next week.
They might not even have to snap the ball here as time's running out. 15 seconds on the clock.
There's Bryce Brown. What a great 10-0 season that gentleman has led the Karr Cougars through.
A classy move by Rummel. It's back-to-back undefeated regular seasons for the Karr Cougars. They win tonight 35-14, champions of the Catholic League in 2025. It wasn't easy. Again, they had to weather the storm. They went down 14-0. Such an unbelievable run by Rummel to get going, and then Karr with 35 unanswered. We'll step aside, come back for postgame. We'll hear from the winners when we return on the LHSAA Network Game of the Week.
Buying online is easy, but not when it comes to buying medications. Counterfeit pills and other illicit substances are being laced with fentanyl. Kids are dying from these fake pills. Fentanyl is 50 times stronger than heroin. A lethal dose is smaller than a pencil point. Worse yet, medical professionals can't tell the difference between real pills and their counterfeits. Don't take anything that doesn't come from your doctor. Buying online can leave you flatlined.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
The LHSAA Network TV app features a 24/7 live channel as well as on-demand content with all the high school sports you want, and it's totally free. The app is available for download on TV-connected devices, including Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. It's the only place where every day is game day. Download the LHSAA Network TV app today.
Thursday night, Week 10, our LHSAA Network Game of the Week. Edna Karr a winner, 35-14 over Rummel. Let's go down to our Player of the Game package, brought to you by Louisiana Army National Guard. Protect what matters.
Well, it's number one, John Johnson. If anybody didn't know that, they call him Hollywood. Accounted for 2 TD passes, one to Floyd Jones, Greg Wilford, and one 48-yard rushing touchdown to cap the scoring for the Karr Cougars tonight. He is an outstanding athlete, reopened his recruiting this week. Everybody's going to be chasing after him. Look at him break away for that final touchdown for the Cougars.
The reigning offensive MVP in District 9-5A. Let's go down to Steve Schneider.
This is Week 10. We've done it all 10 weeks. It's a great thing. Louisiana Army National Guard here to present the trophy.
Good evening. This is Staff Sergeant Luna with the Louisiana National Guard. I'm part of the organization. I want to go ahead and present Player of the Game. Quarterback John Johnson III.
All right, guys, thank you. So the way the configuration of the stadium was, I was on your sideline even though you were the visiting team. And when they got those 2 quick scores, I didn't see anybody looking for a panic button.
No, man, we strive to say when our back against the wall, we lean on our brothers and we stay poised. Not only the quarterback got to stay poised, but the whole team.
Talk about all the different guys that were involved in this victory. I mean, you had a special teams touchdown. The defense obviously shut things down after the first 6 minutes. And who can you talk about on this offense? Because you obviously accounted for 3 touchdowns, the difference in the game. But there were a lot of people you were counting on.
I feel like it's a great team. We are a well-balanced team. We got a great running back. Trey just got us 1,000 rushing yards this game. I had my 3 touchdowns. Receivers played amazing. Floyd Jones, great. Defense. Best defense in the state, like I said. They started off a little shaky, but so did we, and we shook back. The whole team shook back.
So let's look forward. It's now the postseason. What does it take to get back to the Dome and do it again your senior year?
Just keeping our foot on everybody's neck, and strive to say go back to back and play who we're playing for.
All right, John Johnson, our player of the game, Louisiana Army National Guard. We'll talk to his head coach here in a minute. Congratulations, John.
Thank you very much, Steve. Well, we got a good one tonight. We saw hard hits, we saw long runs, and we saw a further coronation of Karr, who's won 24 in a row.
No doubt. Look, they can flip a switch, right? Didn't I tell you they could flip a switch? You give them a crack, they're coming straight through it with a lot of energy, and they did that in the second half.
Let's take a look at some highlights from our Week 10 Game of the Week here on LHSAA Network.
Well, there you go. Rummel was quick with the highlights tonight, especially in the first half. You got a good look right there at JT Terrence getting into the end zone, and then there's the Metairie tush push for Corin Hawkins there in the first half to give them, I believe that was their second score, or maybe that was their first score of the evening. And then they could get out of trouble. Didn't I say that if their back's against the wall, all they got to do is throw it up to number 4, Floyd Jones. And then they get the ball into Floyd Jones' hands for their first score of the night on the simple hitch route right there from John Johnson. And John Johnson knows how to spin it, right? And he puts it on the numbers of Greg Wilford. He gets his helmet knocked off, but that's their second score with a 2-point conversion from the 3-yard line by Trey Garrison, who had an outstanding night. Little special teams got into the mix right there, and that was number 29, Jermichael Quinn, blocking the punt and getting the scoop and score. Ronell Kendall going all the way into the end zone, and then look at this. Didn't I say Garrison runs angry? He's running angry right there for another Karr score.
That makes it 28-14, and then on 4th down, a ball comes out of the hands, forward pass, turns it over to Karr.
Yeah, and then, well, here we go. I mean, let John Johnson, our player of the night, do the talking. Look at that. Down the boundary, tiptoeing, athletic talent. There's a reason why he is one of the best quarterbacks in this state. Good look at that young man right there.
So John Johnson, your Army National Guard player of the game. Let's go back down with Steve and Coach Brown.
Bryce Brown with me. We just presented the trophy to John Johnson. 29 seniors. You get to this point, even if you're down, that means something, doesn't it?
Yeah, the good thing about Karr, we can replace 29 seniors. That's you got to reload, but those guys have been here since, 9th grade, so they're 4-year guys. So, this type of game, Rummel always plays this stuff every year. So we anticipated this, especially on a short week. Well, we didn't have the extra day to prepare, but, that's how this district is played, man. You come off a big win against Curtis, and then next week you got Rummel. So that's what makes it difficult.
I was roaming the visitor's sideline when it was 2 scores in 6 minutes. I didn't see anybody looking for the panic button.
No, you can't panic. You got to keep settling down. If they see me panicking, they're gonna panic. So we try to a cool head gonna always win a hot game.
What can you say about another 10-0 perfect season? I think you guys have only lost 4 games on the field in 10 years.
Oh, that's all good players, man. Good players, and they coached by great coaches. So I think that's the biggest part.
Feel like this is a team that's ready to make a run back to the Dome?
I feel like it's a team that's hungry, but I think the Dome is the least our concern. We got to keep getting better each and every week because we could let somebody sneak up on us.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. That'll
Thank you very much, Steve. A clear night in the Crescent City. Coach, final thoughts?
Well, look, you've seen one of the best teams in the state, right? I expect these guys to be there when it's the 5th week of the playoffs at the Dome. It's going to be a great playoff schedule for the Karr Cougars.
A great start to Week 10 on the LHSAA Network Game of the Week. Edna Karr a winner, 35-14. Have a great postseason, everybody.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
The start of school means the start of new sports seasons, which unfortunately can mean injuries. Too often, sports injuries are treated with opioids, leading to addiction among our youth. And drug addictions can cause overdoses and deaths. If you're injured, ask your doctor for medicines and therapies that don't use opioids. And if you're struggling with opioid addiction, we can offer treatment. Opioid addiction is a losing game. You can help. Learn more at realhelpvr.com. That's realhelpvr.com.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.